Pete Carroll is on a plane. He's headed to Indianapolis. What is that, the combine that they have going on there?
Yep.
And he gets on the plane in Seattle, and who does he run into?
Runs into John Schneider and Mike Macdonald. They're sitting together in first class, and there's Pete Carroll standing up there talking to him. Then he bends down to say something. Then nobody knows what was said during that time. But I can only imagine, like, hey, good to see you guys. Looking forward to hanging out when we get to Indianapolis. But, Charlie, there were some they asked Pete Carroll some things about his time in Seattle, and I just thought it was cool. One of the takeaways in what he said also was talking about how much he does love Seattle and how he, as you all know, bought a home here, plans to keep a home here, and stay living here for a city that has treated him so well. He really points out and talks about how the fans, how much there's so much love between he and the fans, and it's just really cool. There's always a yeah, but. And the reason why I'm saying that, because sometimes my dad he'd be telling me stories, he'd be telling me something, and I used to, I would wait for it. I knew that there was a but, and here's my but. It's a little tough seeing Pete Carroll getting ready to go coach another team. I love Pete. I think Pete is a phenomenal coach. I think Pete is going to do very well with the Raiders. It's one of those things where, selfishly speaking, I thought that we were his last stop, right? It is like your daddy who is not married anymore, and then all of a sudden he starts dating someone, and you're like, that's but that's not my mama though. You know what I mean? That's just one of those things. So, but again, I do wish Pete all the best. It's just sometimes, as you all know, some of the best times as a Seahawk fan, you can't tell that story without involving and saying the name Pete Carroll. So how about you, Charlie? I mean, are you okay? Are you? Is it tough seeing him go? And be with someone else?
I am sad to see him go, and I was thinking about this in terms of the Mount Rushmore of Seahawks coaches.
Okay.
I think Pete Carroll is definitely on that Mount Rushmore, but is he the number one? Is he the George Washington of it? Because they're basically the three strongest, right? Holmgren, Chuck Knox, and Pete Carroll. And it's really hard to go beyond that. You might make an argument about Patera.
I thought you were going coaches, Seattle teams.
Okay.
Mount
Seattle
Rushmore. Team. You know what I mean? And what would you put on there, Sully?
Lou Piniella, George Carl.
I'll go first.
Okay.
You nailed it. I'd go Don James.
Okay.
Lou Piniella. George Carl. Okay, George Carl, and then, of course, Pete Carroll. But here's what's rough.
Holmgren on that, though.
Well, you could only have four. And here's what's rough, Sully. Here's what's rough. I need to take one off, and I need to put one on. I don't know who I need to take off, but I need to put Lenny Wilkens on there.
Can't forget Lenny.
So of the four, who do you take off? Do you take off George Carl?
Do you have to go with championship?
Do you take Lou Piniella?
Who won a championship between those two in the NBA?
Oh, Lenny Wilkens did.
Bingo.
Okay, Pete Carroll did. Okay, so
I was just saying, if you're going to flip-flop those two, you got to flip-flop the guy who won the title.
Oh!
Which I know is so hard.
Hey, I'm taking off George Carl, and I'm putting Lenny Wilkens on there. Now, for everybody that's listening right now, debate it with your family.